Federal defense attorney and former federal prosecutor Ron Chapman joins me now. Ron, it's interesting to me how people can look at the same videos and see them in polar opposite ways. When you look at especially this latest video from the agent's perspective, what do you see?
Well, I think Paul Morrow is absolutely right. I mean, you can't really take a Mayor Fry outcome determinative perspective here. What you have to do is look at what's happening to the ICE agent while they're near the vehicle. And I think to Paul's point, when you've got somebody there who's there unlawfully blocking the ICE from the performance of their duty, you have no obligation for that ICE agent to flee or try to find a better way to achieve the outcome. She was arrestable at that very moment. They intended to seize her and stop the vehicle. And when she pulled forward, striking an ICE agent, she engaged with deadly force. And deadly force meets deadly force regardless of the tragedy of those circumstances. And we can't just play this in slow motion and say that we would have done it a different way. That's not how we look at these sorts of actions.
And she wasn't just sort of idling away. She stomped on the gas. Does that enter into this?
Yeah, and this is where the forensic outcome becomes a little bit more important here, right? We're going to want to see what's in her blood. Was she under the influence of any intoxicants at the time? But we're also going to want to see why the car continued to speed. Was it because her foot was placed on the accelerator in a very hard fashion at that moment when she sped towards the officer? Or was it her unconscious movement, or maybe a reaction as a result of the shot that ended up occurring that caused her to speed into the vehicle? Those things will be very important, but to be honest, when we're looking at a charging determination here, that shouldn't be all that important because we have enough evidence right here. We have a vehicle striking a person, and that 100% of the time is going to be enough for self-defense.
I want to bring in the perspective of Tim Miller. He's a former ICE special agent on what happened here. Listen to how he sees it.
You're trying to effect a lawful arrest. You've told her to step out of the car. And let's be clear, none of us want to see this happen. Nobody, especially the law enforcement officers. And the fix is simple. Comply with law enforcement. When they ask you to do what they're asking you to do and it's lawful, comply with them.
Comply with them, and it's pretty clear she didn't want to do that.
Well, yeah, and we know exactly why, right? The rhetoric that has occurred in that town, somebody needs to be held accountable for it. We've got Walls, we've got the mayor making statements about how they want ICE out of there, and those statements have impact. I recall the left taking shots at the current president of the United States for some of the comments he took that apparently caused people to go into a Capitol building. The same is true here. When we have rhetoric that causes people to engage in dangerous actions and those actions have an impact, people need to be held responsible. They are becoming very close to impeding a federal investigation, which itself is a federal offense. And I imagine that the FBI is going to be investigating that as well.
Republican Congressman Tom Emmer is part of the House leadership team. He has some thoughts on what transpired here and local leaders' reaction to it. Listen.
Tim Walz should have come out right away and said, everybody be calm, withhold your judgment. We know that this is a very sensitive matter. Let law enforcement do their work. None of that happened. And then you got a boy toy mayor, somebody who's not mature enough for the job, yelling the Effenheimer about getting ICE out of his city. It's very clear who is fomenting it.
What do you think about that? Is all of this essentially being fomented by local leadership, people like Tim Walz?
Well, first, I love Effenheimer. I haven't heard that before. I've got to use that at some point. It's wonderful. But yes, the rhetoric is incredibly troubling, right? We have people in a position of authority, instead of saying, take a step back, calm down, they're ratcheting it up, right? And a number of Soros-funded protests, likely Soros-funded, are occurring and popping up all over the place, which are going to cause more dangerous actions surrounding ICE. To be honest, I feel like this is exactly what the people who are calling for sanctuary cities and for ICE to get out of town want. They're causing these dangerous interactions between the public and federal officials in the performance of their lawful duty. And back to the prior statements, we have ICE agents on the ground, most of them just doing their job, right? Not exercising any sort of aggression, and they're completely lawfully engaged in the exercise of a lawful function. When those individuals get impeded and they have to make a difficult decision, that certainly weighs on their conscience. They don't want any of this. It's much better for people to lay down on the rhetoric, support law enforcement, and then take it up in the courts if they feel like they have a legitimate grievance. That's where we take these matters up.
A former federal prosecutor and federal defense attorney, Ron Chapman. Ron, thank you.